in the conversation. And I'm curious. I'm going to start just with this. When you visit with the team, you can get a sense of, man, we're doing our best. They're trying to project something that's not real. Or, you know what, the world doesn't know what we're prepared to go out and do. What sense did you get? What were the Raiders projecting to you about what they thought they would be tonight?
I think it's more the latter, more along the lines of the latter that you just stated, Scott. They really thought people were sleeping on them. They really thought people thought without AB they couldn't do anything. They didn't have any explosive playmakers. They wouldn't be able to put points up on the board. And Derek Carr assured me, he said, hey, look, I'm playing in an offense right now in my second year that I'm totally comfortable with, that I totally have the keys to the kingdom, so to speak, as far as what I'm able to do at the line of scrimmage, getting us in and out of plays. I know what Jon really wants to do with this offense. And then when you talk about their weaponry, look, Tyrell Williams is really – he's been running through the AFC West for years. He's a guy who out there in L.A. and in San Diego before that was catching big plays down the field all the time, just like Keenan Allen got all the attention. And I'll tell you this, Josh Jacobs is one of those guys who you saw him at Alabama. You saw the glimpses of the type of power this guy has, the type of stamina he has, the type of competitive character that he has, and he showed it to you tonight. In crunch time, they went to him. In crunch time, they went to Tyrell Williams. And this is the kind of thing that Derek Carr said that they could do. And then on the defensive side of the football, I'll tell you this, the secondary, Ryan Clark will tell you, played lights out. They really did, in those man cover situations when they needed to the most, they really stepped up to the challenge. They held their coverage tight. They helped the pass rush then have more time to work. It was a total complementary type of effort, which is exactly what they said they would put on tape tonight. They said, look, we're more than just AB. And quite honestly, AB was never here. Sure. So we never were depending on him in the first place. We don't even know who he is because he didn't show up. So we're going to play with the guys we have here, and I think you're going to like what you see. Now, you can ask America, did you like what you see? They're not the same old Raiders, I'm just telling you.
Up front, and Ryan, I'm going to get to you in a moment. Up front, I was surprised, and I made this point before we brought you in, Lewis, that we heard so much about Chubb and Miller and how those two guys were going to really be a problem. They didn't touch Carr tonight. How much can this offensive line replicate this performance, not just clearing the way for Jacobs, but keeping Carr's uniform clean?
Yeah, look, that's one of the things that Jon Gruden told us he wanted to do this offseason was get Derek Carr some protection. So that meant going out and getting Trent Brown, making him the highest paid tackle in the NFL, and just parking him over there on the right side and saying, hey, do your work. It meant getting Colton Miller healthy, getting him bigger, getting him stronger. And he was someone who they talked about as saying, look, he's going to have a tremendous second year. Do not put a whole lot of stock into his first year where he played hurt, and he still needed to grow and develop his strength. So those are two of the main reasons why Bradley and Vaughn were neutralized. On top of it, Derek was getting the ball out of his hands fast. They were multiple and diverse on offense in terms of run-pass mix. Jon called a brilliant game. So I was saying during the broadcast, Vic Fangio was sitting there going, Vic talked about getting inside of offensive coordinators' heads and getting inside of quarterbacks' heads in terms of throwing them off their rhythm. Well, he had the script flipped it on him tonight, and really it was Jon Gruden who got inside of his head, and Vic didn't really know what was coming at him from play to play, and that's what offensive coordinators want. That's what they try to do. That's what Jon did tonight, and it was just really it resulted in a heck of a performance against two of the best pass rushers that this game has seen in recent years.
Well, I know you enjoyed your years wearing the silver and black, and it was certainly obvious you guys enjoyed being in the booth tonight. You guys did a hell of a job, and it was fun to listen, Lewis. Be well, all right?
You bet. Thank you, my man.
Okay. And Ryan, as just we piggyback the conversation from Lewis, I think we try our best to be reasonable week one, right? Not project too much forward. But based on this performance tonight, will you take more out of what you saw from Oakland or what you didn't from Denver as we look towards the next few weeks?
I'll take more of what I saw from Oakland, but it's not just about the X's and O's and what they did on the field. When you watched them lose Khalil Mack last year, you saw some things in the locker room. They didn't necessarily believe in Gruden. They thought he should have worked harder with Khalil Mack. This whole Antonio Brown situation, it brought this team closer. Yeah. They understood what their coach was going through, what the GM was going through, and they wanted to go out and show people that they can win. And when you see a Tyrell Williams show up, you see some of the young draft picks when you have 3 in the first round, Mike Mayock hit on those guys. Even Colin Farrell, who many thought went too early, showed up tonight and put pressure on the quarterback. They solidified themselves outside. They protected Derek Carr, and they made lanes for Josh Jacobs to run the football. And when you can do all these things week one against a team people thought would beat you, it's a huge stepping stone for this organization.
You go out and get a Cleveland Farrell, you get a Jacobs, you get guys that came from programs that are used to winning, and the young guys injected with the guys that had been there, and I think what you say makes sense. That what they went through together clearly evidenced itself tonight. Jon Gruden, the man that was there in the middle of all of it. We don't have to listen to him in a taped conversation. He's actually talking to the media now.
great audibles. He protected the ball. He was inspiring and leading the team on the sidelines. I thought he's really good. I think I'll take credit for that since it worked. Yeah, Derek was involved in a lot of things tonight, and most great quarterbacks are. But he was on top of his game tonight. There really wasn't. I'm just going to tell you, there really wasn't. Maybe for the media, but what happened here the last couple days may have been big news to some, but there were no distractions. I think you could tell that tonight. Our team was ready to roll. No, I'm never going to bring it up again. That incident, whatever you call it, had nothing to do with our team's focus or preparation. That's it. End of story. Sorry. Yeah, it's big, man. I mean, balance was important. We changed speeds a lot. I think their defense is as tough as you'll see all year. I mean, Fangio is unbelievable. We had some long, sustained drives. We were able to finish the drives in the end zone. It's hard to go 90 yards in this league against that type of defense with Miller and Chubb and Chris Harris and Fangio. So it was a good start. We got a short week. We got a real animal coming in here again this short week, so we got to get to work. He's good back. We're really happy. The play that really impressed me was the catch and run. That really was a big score to make it 21-6. I think he shows some all-purposeness, like we talked about. He can catch it. He obviously can run it. He picked up a couple blitzes, and he's smart, and he's passionate about the game. I give Mayock a lot of credit. I got good word on him that he's going to be okay. Don't know his status for the next game, but most importantly, the kid is all right. That was a scary hit that he took, but all the reports I have are very, very positive.
That's great news to hear on Gareon Conley. He did give the thumbs up as he left the field. Gruden's one of those guys who doesn't always speak in English, but I understand him. I don't know if all-purposeness is a word, but
you're right. I know exactly
what you mean. And look, let's just do what we do and on our side of the microphone here. Let's look ahead. We got an animal coming in. Kansas City comes to town. You feel good about yourself on a Monday night, and they should. But here come the Chiefs. What will they learn about themselves on Sunday on a short week?
They will learn if this was just emotion, if this was just something that they were riding because they wanted to prove people wrong. Yeah. It's a short week. You're going against a team that was in the AFC Championship that has a man playing quarterback like no other in the NFL. Can this defense that Lewis talked about matching up man-to-man do that against the Kansas City Chiefs, even though they're shorthanded? And can you produce on offense the same way you did this week?
Possess the ball, go on long drives. Look, the Chiefs gave up a ton of yards against Jacksonville this weekend. I mean, the script's there, but I mean, you're gonna have to score some points.
Dude, though.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that.
Absolutely.
Good luck with that. The MVP's coming to town. Appreciate you. We'll talk more to Ryan Clark in a bit. All right, a little more on that running back. Raiders loaded up on defense with a multitude of draft picks, but then they certainly went out and got Josh Jacobs, as you saw. And in the debut, he became the fourth different running back to have 2 rushing touchdowns and 100 yards from scrimmage on Monday Night Football. The last one to do it was a guy named Bo Jackson. And I always say youngsters don't know. Youngsters know Bo Jackson, but you just know he's that cool guy that hangs around. Bo Jackson was something. Tecmo Bowl, unstoppable play.
The postgame